Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Honolulu lived two boys, Robert and Mike. Robert was the son of a hard-working educator, while Mike's father was a successful businessman. Despite their differences, they're best friends. Robert's dad, though well-educated, struggled financially. On the other hand, Mike's dad, lacking a formal education, was wealthy. The contrast puzzled young Robert, leading him to look for answers from Mike's father. One sunny afternoon, Robert asked Mike's father, whom he called Rich Dad, about the secrets to his wealth. The conversation that ensued would alter Robert's perspective on money and wealth forever. Rich Dad offered Robert and Mike a job at his store, but paid them only 10 cents per hour. When Robert complained to his biological dad, the poor dad, he advised Robert's demands for what it's worth. If it didn't go as he wishes, Robert would threaten to sue the rich dad for abusing child labor. However, Rich Dad responded, "You boys are just like my employees. You are looking for more money for your work, and when you're not giving for what you're worth, you want to strike or protest, just like they do. You see, through the lens of workers, this is how it's structured in our society. Most people, even smart people like doctors, bankers, or lawyers, work for money. They will use their legal knowledge to sue their employers when they don't get what they deserve." Rich Dad explained that it is exactly this mentality that keeps people trapped in the cycle of poverty. And underneath that cycle lie two emotions: fear and greed. The fear of being without money motivates us to work hard, and once we get that paycheck, greed kicks in and makes us think about all the wonderful things that money can buy. Then the pattern is set. Get up, go to work, pay bills. Get up, go to work, pay bills. And the cycle goes on and on. And this is what Rich Dad calls a rat race. To become financially free, it's not about demanding more money for your time. Rather, it's about finding ways to make money work for you. Rich Dad emphasized that understanding how money works is crucial to building wealth. A vital aspect of financial literacy is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets put money in your pockets, generate income, and appreciate in value. Examples of assets include stocks, bonds, businesses, and rental properties. Liability, on the other hand, take money out of your pockets and drain your resources, such as credit card debt or a mortgage. If you want to grow your wealth, then you should focus on growing your assets. Rich Dad explained that for most people, they focus only on their income and expenses. Employees receive a steady income and pay for their rent, insurance, food, or mortgage. To avoid higher expenses, they focus on advancing their profession and skill sets, hoping that the dedication comes with higher salary. However, the rich focus on growing their assets, ones that generate income without them actively trading time for it. Over time, the size of the assets grows, so does the income. Especially in the current digital age, assets can grow exponentially. It is up to you to determine whether the item is an asset or a liability. Houses are commonly debated as liabilities since they require mortgage payments and regular maintenance. But if they can bring in value by being rented out for residential or commercial use, then houses become assets. In old times, the taxes were designed for the kings or presidents to ask the rich to fund the wars. Taxes were levied in Britain against Napoleon from 1799 to 1816, and in America to pay for the Civil War from 1861 to 1865. In modern times, the government incentivized lowering corporate taxes to boost economic growth, attract foreign investments, and increase global competitiveness. The government designs the tax law in such a way that a corporation is taxed differently than a natural person. For instance, your income will be taxed before you could spend it. For corporations, they are taxed only after the expenses are deducted. Imagine a person earning 100,000 in the America. He will be taxed around 32,000. A take-home of 68,000 can be spent on food, car maintenance, or house finishing. For the corporates earning 100,000, the expenses, say 40,000, can be deducted before tax, and the remaining 60,000 is taxed at 21%, which leads to only 13,000 in taxes. And those deductible expenses can actually be spent on food, utility bills, office furnishing, or computer replacements. As you are buying food for your employees, renovating your home office, and buying a new laptop without being taxed. The corporation can only spend the money before it's taxed, while the person can only spend it after salary is taxed. Further, Rich Dad pointed out that Robin Hood's idea of the government, taking from the rich to help the poor, actually works against the poor and middle class. Once the take from the rich tax is passed, the government received a large pool of money, but the government is appraised for spending money and avoiding excessive cash. Otherwise, the government will not get its budget in the next fiscal year. As the cycle of government spending continues, the demand for money increases, and the tax system is adjusted to include the poor and the middle class to support it. Even with the public asking the rich to pay more taxes, the rich can always hire tax professionals to find ways to avoid being taxed. Do you know how much the effective tax rate for Apple in the first quarter of 2023? Around 15%. That is way less than our individual income taxes. And exactly for this reason, that your rich dad encouraged you to start your own business, rather than being employed to work for somebody else. That's all for today's video. If you find this helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, you can be richer by knowing a little bit more than yesterday.